Hi, hi, Kynan. How are you today?
Yeah, good, thanks, Mel.
I'm so excited that I've got the chance to talk to you this morning about EFS and what EFS can do for a small business. Kynan, before we kick off though, we all keep talking about this little acronym EFS, and there might be somebody watching for the first time thinking, I don't even know what EFS means. I don't know what it stands for. Would you be able to just quickly tell me what is EFS and what are the main objectives of EFS?
All right, so EFS stands for Entrepreneurship Facilitation Service. So you can see why we go with EFS
That's a
because,
mouthful.
yeah, entrepreneur. We had local MP Andrew Hastie come out to launch when we first started, and he couldn't say it. And he agreed that it was something that only a federal government agency could come up with. So we generally just call it EFS. It's just that much easier. I mean, our whole brief right at the start of EFS was to increase entrepreneurship in the Mandurah area. We didn't get any definition of what entrepreneurship was, and we didn't get any definition of what Mandurah was. So entrepreneurship, I see as anything where someone is generating their own income. So whether that's, starting their plumbing business, hairdressers, selling stuff online, whatever it happens to be, whatever their great idea is that generates income for themselves. As far as Mandurah goes, I see Mandurah as basically being anything south of Fremantle. There is another entrepreneurship facilitation service in Midland, and basically we were told at the start that as long as we're not bumping up against each other, then that's fine. We can sort of go for it.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. And it's exciting to think about so many different types of small businesses as well, ones with a shop face and one, without. So there's lots of different things there that you can look at when you think of a small business. But what services does EFS actually offer?
All right. So a big part of what we do is we use an event model to sort of get people in contact with us. So roughly, 1 to 2 events per month, which will basically just be providing information on whatever topic it is that we're trying to educate people on at the time. So anyone can come in and attend those. Now those are kind of a bit of a lead magnet for us to get people into our one-on-one coaching. Well, we do one-on-one coaching. We also do group coaching. Generally speaking, the group coaching, we use a small business skill set. So you're getting some qualifications and, at the end of the day, the knowledge to be able to run your business effectively. And that was kind of pinched from a state government project, but we don't actually claim for the money for running that state government project. We just use their skill set model as a way of running our group coaching.
Okay.
The other service that we sort of provide is referrals on to I guess, other services that are going to help people to run their business. I don't pretend to know everything about business. I don't think anyone does. I talk to successful business owners and they'll say that they surround themselves with the best people that are able to help them. So part of what I do is also create almost a network of small businesses in Mandurah that can support each other. So I can then sort of make those referrals onto whatever business it is which is going to solve a person's particular problems. And I can sort of do the introductions, handshake them across, or if all they need is, hey, if you've got a business card for an accountant, I can give you that as well.
Oh, that sounds really exciting. It sounds quite involved for you, but really quite exciting at the same time. And you must meet some really amazing people doing all of that as well. So,
Oh, totally. I mean, everyone's got an exciting journey. So,
yeah. So
yeah.
you must have been doing this for a while then, Kynan. How long have you been doing this for?
Well, the EFS project has been running for 3 years.
Yeah.
So I actually came over from New Zealand at the start of, well, actually, no, end of 2018. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I, arrived just after Christmas, and then we started the EFS project at the start of January. So that was pretty exciting. So in 2019, and we're just waiting to hear about whether we sort of roll over for another 3 years. So that could be really exciting. But
Fingers
even
crossed.
before I came over from New Zealand, I'd been doing similar work for Work and Income in New Zealand, where I worked initially. Well, I won't go right into that, but one of the roles that I sort of performed there was very similar within their businesses, helping people who are interested in going from the benefit system into self-employment. So I'd sort of do some coaching with them, helping them to build their business plan. They'd then present to a panel of staff from that department, which I'd sometimes get to sit on that board, other times I wouldn't. And we'd sort of decide who we were going to fund to help start their small businesses. So been doing this for ages.
Wow, you sure have been. It sounds like an exciting career that you've had so far. So hopefully there's so much more, like you say, that you get this next 3-year contract and you can continue doing something that you're clearly passionate about. So that's exciting. But if I'm a new business, can anyone get support from EFS? Like, are there any boundaries that come along, or any rules or restrictions, or
Well, look, as I said, we've got to try and avoid bumping up against the guys in Midland.
Yep.
But they're miles away, so that's usually not an issue. So anyone around this sort of Peel, Mandurah, Shire of Murray, all the way up to Fremantle sort of thing, I'm quite happy to help them. Look, at the end of the day, they need to be Australian resident in order to get the assistance. I guess at the moment, if they're not Australian resident, they're probably not here. So that makes things a little bit easier.
So it doesn't matter if I'm a home-based business or a bricks and mortar, I have my own business premises. It doesn't matter for any of that type of thing.
Yeah,
that's
as
great.
I said before, as long as you're looking to generate your own income, look, you could just be at the ideas phase at this point, and I'd be really keen to talk to you and work through what ideas you might have and even help you try and come up with ideas. And I mean, anything that people talk to me about is always entirely confidential.
That's good to know.
I'm not going to try and pinch your idea and go and run off and start the business myself.
You're too busy. You haven't got time.
Exactly.
I mean, running your own business, a lot of people think it's about freedom and independence, and it's not just about the dollars. Do you think that this is true at all? Or
now, look, that's an interesting one. I was thinking about this earlier because I've often heard people, I want to start a small business for the lifestyle. Most small business owners I know work their butts off. I'm just going to be straight up with you there. So if you're doing it for freedom and independence, I guess it is there in some ways. I know I've got a mate running his small business who'll know exactly who I'm talking about, who on a Friday afternoon, he doesn't have any classes on, so he goes off and he plays golf. And he always invites me to play golf, and I'm going, I can't get away on a Friday like that. So in some ways, there is that freedom and independence. In other ways, there's not, in that, if he's not working, he's not making money.
Correct.
So there's swings and roundabouts to it. So I guess it is about working out how much time you need to be working, not just in the business, but on the business in order to make it work.
Choosing the right business then potentially to suit the lifestyle that you're looking for and wanting, I guess, is a key decision there. Yeah.
So I'm going to talk more about it later, but research, and then more research.
Absolutely. And I mean, given the current economic uncertainty at the time, is now really a good time to be starting a business. I think a lot of people out there sitting and watching this today might be thinking, well, maybe I should be putting off my business thoughts until things settle down. What's what's your opinion on that?
Look, again, that's a tricky one because it does depend a bit on what business you're looking at. I probably wouldn't go and start a travel agency right now.
Yeah, probably
Yeah,
not.
if you've got a big tourism venture, again, well, it could even then depend on the venture, because actually we're seeing really high occupancy rates across a lot of accommodation and that sort of thing for tourism businesses. On the other side of it, if you've got a high-end product, your local tourists don't tend to buy that product. So you've got to think about what is it that you're looking to set up. Another friend of mine he's at the start of the pandemic had just started a brewery business, and he had the great idea that, because he was producing alcohol, he could produce hand sanitizer, and Spinifex Protect was born. I think since then Adam has sold that business very cleverly before the pandemic comes to an end, but as it starts to hopefully wind down, so he's kind of cashed out of that. So business is about timing. I probably wouldn't start a new cafe right now. Wait till the start of next summer. Hey, things could be totally different. Having said that, you can be doing a lot of the work with someone like EFS to get yourself positioned to be able to start your business. It's not going to start overnight, so you can be doing all the groundwork now. I mentioned research before. Every bit of research you do now is going to pay you back double, when you get the business up and running. The other side of it, you could have the perfect business which is going to suit the COVID environment. My daughter came up with the idea of starting a COVID shop. There would be no point starting a COVID shop after the pandemic's finished.
No, so, absolutely not.
If we can find the stock of everything you need to survive a COVID pandemic, which could be a challenge in itself.
Yeah, exactly. And I think everyone's got very different needs of what they need to survive a COVID pandemic.
Toilet paper. She was quite determined she was going to have a giant aisle of toilet paper in her COVID shop.
That's just like the one thing you want to see when you walk into every supermarket at the moment, isn't it? Oh, well, good on her. I think she's definitely got some business skills developing at the moment. Oh, dear. Well, I mean, I think everybody is probably a bit COVID tired and a bit over talking about COVID. But sadly, this is our world right now, the world that we're living in, and it's not just affecting us a little bit. It is greatly impacting all of our worlds in one form or another. But has COVID affected the EFS project? And, with all the new rules and restrictions coming in all the time, where, 1 minute we're having to work like we are now, having a conversation online, the next minute we can be talking face to face. Can you still assist a small business even, through all of these rules and through the rest of this COVID period?
Well, look, we can definitely help them still. And look, COVID has had a big effect on what we've been able to deliver. Just prior to, the pandemic starting, I think it would have been, late 2019, we were having, hang on, what year are we in now? Yeah, that's it. In the first year of EFS, we were getting 40 plus people crammed into our events, and full room. That's probably not such a safe thing to be looking at doing now. So absolutely. We have had to, like other businesses we've pivoted to sort of meet the needs. Our events they tend to be smaller. They're socially distanced. We've got a beautiful big premises here at 191 Mandurah Terrace now, where you don't need to be sort of crammed on top of each other.
You
probably didn't see the previous building we were in, but it had one tiny little training room that we crammed 40 people into.
Wow.
Which was when we decided we needed a bigger premises. So in some ways that came at the perfect time. The other thing that we've started doing is we actually go live on Facebook when we're running one of these events. So even if people aren't comfortable coming into our offices for these events, they can still get access to the material. Which probably also helps businesses that can't always get away. If you're a one-man team, like I said, if you're not there working in the business, you're not getting paid. So coming into something like one of our events isn't always possible.
Yeah.
But it's there on Facebook afterwards, so that like the other week we did one about Instagram for business. So all that information is there. We broke it up into 2 1-hour sessions.
Great.
So that it wasn't quite such a long long work to sort of get through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's there for people.
It works. And how long do they stay up for? Do they stay up indefinitely, or?
Well, that's my plan, is for them to stay up, the recordings to stay up there.
That's
indefinitely.
great.
You might have to sort of scroll through and find the bit of information that you want to know about, but it's all going to be there for people. I do one-on-one interviews with people still, which could mean coming into the office, but we've got a lovely outdoor area as well. So I often actually now do my meetings with people outside in the sunshine. So
100% jealous.
yeah, well, you don't have to wear your mask under the current rules, but that could change, of course. And look, we're flexible with those. If someone just doesn't want to come out, we use Microsoft Teams. If people aren't familiar with Microsoft Teams, I'll get on Zoom, whatever platform it is that they're comfortable with. And like we're doing now, we can do the meetings, online.
Yeah. I mean, who would have thought that, all those years ago that we'd all be talking like this?
Hey, and it doesn't have to be
become
like
the norm now, hasn't it?
Jump on the phone and give me a call.
Yeah.
Flick me an email, whatever medium it is you're most comfortable with, I can still be giving you that advice.
That's great. It's really, really good to hear. So, I mean, no matter how confident you are in your own abilities, you can't build and run a business alone. You sometimes need almost an army to assist you with it. Can the EFS project help you find that army?
Oh, definitely. I mentioned referrals before, and sort of referring you to the right people. Yeah, something that I'm really happy to do. We've got businesses out there that we've been working with for a while who, they're up and running, they know what they're doing, so that mentorship's available through some of those. We can introduce you to people with similar business ideas, that maybe there's a partnership that can be formed there. We do a lot of work with Peel Chamber of Commerce, who are an incredible support for small businesses. So, helping you to find, like you say, that army of people that you need around you. And look, starting a small business can be a really lonely place.
Yeah,
absolutely. If you've gone from like that corporate type world where you've got, a team of 20, 30 people around you every day to suddenly you're working at home by yourself, that can be scary.
Absolutely.
So, actually, if you just want to come in and have a cup of tea, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, here for that. It's good to know. So I read this quote recently that says it takes brains to run a business, but it actually takes balls to start one. I mean, the majority of Australians are employed already in a small business. Why do you think it's so scary? And what do you think has to be done to overcome that fear?
Look, I think saying that it takes some balls is absolutely dead right.
Yeah.
I think backing yourself with your business idea, it can be really scary. So I guess the first thing is that, people like me, and there's a lot of other business coaches are out there, and you can talk to those people and run through your ideas before you actually get started. Do your research beforehand. I can't say that enough times. Research and more research. But at the end of the day, and this is where it's kind of a little bit funny, at some point you've got to work out, it doesn't matter how much research I do, I'm never going to have everything covered.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you've just got to jump in there and do it. So research, and just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a balance between the two.
Yeah. And have
The other
that
one,
network and that army, which
yeah, exactly.
you can help us have.
The other thing that I think makes a huge difference as far as growing those balls to get in there and do it is understanding your why. I'm a huge fan of Simon Sinek. He is absolutely spot on. There's a really good YouTube clip about, or there's a couple of them about understanding your why and why it is that you're actually in business. If you understand your why, the passion will sort of help to override that fear.
Yeah.
And like you say, having the right people around you is so important.
Yeah.
And look, they don't have to be people to do everything for you, but it's about having those supports. And some of those supports are about family and friends, and making sure you've got those almost social networks around you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you even said, I loved how you just referenced a minute ago and said, even if you just need a cup of tea, sometimes you just need someone to talk to and say, am I on the right track? What do you think? I
Look,
think the
and
fact
I'm
that you
really good
can
at
do that
breaking
for
down the pros
people
and
is
cons.
great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not
So,
going to run your business for you, but
yeah,
I can help you to work
you're a
through your
sounding board
ideas.
as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, Kynan, I really enjoyed talking to you this morning. I have learnt a lot from you. I've learned what EFS actually means. Don't ask me to say the name though, because it's a mouthful. I've learned that research is so incredibly important in starting up a new business. I've learned that right now, there is no right or wrong time to start a business as long as you're picking the right business for the right environment and the right climate. And that, of course, comes back to research. And most importantly, I've learned that you are here willing and able to help me get my business up off the ground and running a successful business, which is at the end of the day what we want and what we need. So how do we get in touch with you? How do I find you, Kynan?
Cool. Look, our premises is at 191 Mandurah Terrace, so feel free just to walk in and say hi. If I don't have an appointment free at the time, you can have a chat to our lovely receptionist Amanda, who will get you booked in. You can also find us on a variety of different Facebook pages and groups. So got a Facebook group, EFS Mandurah, which people can join. We also have Skill Strategies International in Mandurah, which we tend to cross-post a lot of our information across those.
Okay.
So that's a really easy way to find us, or jump on the phone. My number's 0421 792 451. And after 3 years, I can finally remember that off the top of my head.
That's awesome. All right, Kynan. Well, it has been so great talking to you today. I really appreciate the time you've given me, and I'll make sure that we catch up again very soon.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Kynan.